My fellow Guardians, thank you for answering my call. We must act quickly, but before we depart, you must know what we're dealing with. To uphold its ever-shifting balance, our universe gives birth to gods, such as Osh, the Eternal Keeper, the embodiment of creation and destruction, an infant deity destined for deeds both beautiful and terrible. Every child needs a mentor, and gods are no exception. Judge and I were the first to greet the newborn in our universe. Shortly after, we were joined by Merida, Ra-Ozu, and Naos. All five of us vowed to raise Osh and prepare him for the times he will be needed the most. Though bound by the same oath, we soon realized how differently we saw our purposes. Judge and I believed that the young god must be isolated from the universe until he is ready. But our allies wanted Osh to travel the universe freely and use it as his playground. The possibility of countless tragedies of cosmic proportions were of no concern to them, so long as they remained his holy advisors. Back then, I managed to convince them. Or so I thought. The Eternal Keeper had so much to learn in so little time. For years, I've been teaching the young god about the world that's waiting for him. But my strict mentorship became too much of a burden for a curious child. One day, the young deity just vanished, eager to explore the universe on his own. I failed him and put us all in grave danger.
Hello, brave hero. Welcome to the channel. Today, we're diving into the world of hero wars to discuss a legendary character, the versatile Nebula. She's an exceptional support hero, as we'll discover in this video. Nebula is capable of boosting damage, whether it's magical, physical, or pure. She's also essential for Asgard. Like many support heroes, Nebula can make a difference and lead you to victory. Let's first take a look at her skills. Her first skill, Astral Projection, sees Nebula launching a projectile with low velocity forward. When activated, this projectile deals damage and disperses energy among enemies in the impact zone. The damage and dispersed energy are evenly distributed. The projectile can be activated manually or when it reaches the furthest enemy. Although this skill might not deal the most damage, it is very useful for removing energy from enemies. Its effectiveness depends on Nebula's physical attack, a crucial stat for her. Moving on to Nebula's second skill, Serenity. This is a full support skill. It restores a portion of health to the two closest allies and removes any negative effects they are suffering from. Note that Nebula will benefit from this skill even if she has only one ally remaining. The amount of health restored depends on Nebula's physical attack. The third skill of Nebula may not be the most interesting, as Nebula is a support hero and not meant to deal damage, but to boost her allies. This skill deals damage to the enemy with the lowest health, and as always, the damage depends on Nebula's physical attack. The fourth skill, Equilibrium, is undoubtedly the most interesting. This is where Nebula's key power lies. Her basic attacks turn into support actions. With each activation, she increases the physical attack and magical attack of a nearby ally for 5 seconds. In the video example, you can see that when Nebula attacks, her projectile turns towards an ally to give them an attack boost. You can easily spot this by the blue orb floating above the heroes. The increase depends on Nebula's physical attack, reaching up to about 100,000 for physical attack and 160,000 for magical attack. Now let's look at Nebula's Ascension skills. For her first Ascension skill, Astral Projection, the activation grants the equilibrium effect to 2 allies. This increases their physical and magical attack for 5 additional seconds, based on Nebula's physical attack. Her second Ascension skill, Absolute Serenity, improves her second skill. Now, if an ally receives a negative effect within 4 seconds after Serenity is activated, Nebula can cancel those negative effects and apply additional healing. Let's discuss Pet now. For Nebula, the choice is clear: Cain. This pet boosts her dodge, which is crucial for keeping her alive longer. It also increases her physical attack, a fundamental stat to maximize her skills. Although Cain is often associated with other heroes more suited to him, he remains essential for unlocking Nebula's full potential, especially in Asgard battles. Next, let's look at the skins available for Nebula. We have the Romantic skin, which increases her attack, the Winter skin, which can be unlocked during the Christmas event, and also boosts physical attack, the Spring skin, which enhances her dodge, and the Celestial skin, which boosts her armor. The Romantic and Winter skins are particularly effective for Nebula, as all her skills depend on physical attack. The Spring skin is less crucial, although dodge is useful, and the Celestial skin is very interesting, especially against high-level Asgard bosses. The default skin for Nebula is also relevant, as it improves agility, which increases her physical attack and armor, 2 essential stats for Nebula. Finally, let's talk about the artifacts. The first artifact is linked to her first skill. When she uses her first skill, this artifact provides a boost to her entire team for 9 seconds. Nebula increases the physical attack of all her allies and herself, which is very useful given that all her skills depend on her physical attack. The second artifact enhances dodge and health, which is interesting but less critical. It is better to prioritize the third artifact, which boosts agility and thus physical attack and armor to fully leverage Nebula's potential. In conclusion, Nebula is an exceptional ally who fits into any team composition, whether magical or physical. She is essential for Asgard, even though some players use Jet as an alternative. Nebula remains the most effective. Nebula does not have a specific counter. Heroes like Sebastian or Polaris may limit her ability to drain energy from enemies, but that's not her primary strength. Her main role is to boost her allies' damage. She's a hero worth having in your arsenal as she integrates well with many teams. Personally, I love her with Dante, Heidi, Iris, and many other heroes. Subscribe if you enjoy the content, and don't hesitate to leave a comment about how you use Nebula. Also, drop a like to support the channel. Thanks for watching and see you soon in Dominion.